Have you ever stopped and thought about the financial beliefs you grew up with? Not your income, not your investments, but the actual beliefs, the things that you never questioned. Now, lately, I've been thinking about the future, not just becoming more successful, but becoming a husband, becoming a father. And one day, well, my parents won't be taking care of me anymore. I'll be taking care of them. That realization changes everything because suddenly money isn't about buying nicer things, it's about carrying heavier responsibilities. And as I've been preparing for that season, I've been asking myself two questions. What did my parents teach me about money? And what do I want my children to believe about money? So as I reflect, I share this with you. Now, before I even begin, I want to say something very important. My parents did an incredible job. Everything they taught me came from love. I understand that. They taught me what they knew. Those lessons helped me become the man I am today. And so this is not criticism in any form of the sense, it's gratitude. But every generation has a responsibility, not just to preserve wisdom, but to improve it. And that is how families grow, that's how legacies are built. The first thing I can recall my parents teaching me is money is sensitive. Growing up, we didn't talk about money. It wasn't something discussed around the dinner table. It felt private. It felt a bit hands off and forbidden, and even uncomfortable when you brought it up. And that taught me something valuable in the sense it taught me respect, humility, and discretion. But later, I realized something. If nobody teaches you about money, where are you supposed to learn it from? If we're not talking about it, then how am I supposed to learn about it? Silence creates financial ignorance. One thing I want to do differently is making money conversations very normal in my family. I want my children to understand budgets, investing, taxes, business, charity. I want them to be comfortable talking about money. Money won't be a forbidden conversation. It will be a very important part of their education. Because if you can't talk about money, you can't learn about money. So, hard work built my discipline, and saving taught me patience. And I'll always be grateful for those lessons. But here's what medicine taught me. It taught me there are only 24 hours in the day, right? And eventually working harder stops working because I am just human being. Systems don't, businesses don't, investments don't. Should money eventually begin working even when you're not? And so this is something I questioned, and I want to teach my children how to put more hours in their day. Because yes, I want them to work hard, absolutely. But I also want to teach them how to build systems that will outwork them. And so hard work does create income, but systems create wealth. One thing I also learned is too much money can be dangerous, and that's something that I learned growing up. That money changes you. Too much money is a bad thing, and honestly, I guess it's sound advice. Humility is priceless. But somewhere along the way, I think many of us started believing something else. Money is the root of all evil, right? Having money somehow makes you a bad person. And I don't believe that anymore. Money doesn't create character. Money reveals character. It, if you're a generous person before wealth, you'll probably be more generous after wealth. If you're selfish before wealth, you will probably be selfish even after you become wealthy. Money won't fix that. it will only amplify it. So what will I be teaching my kids? Become money magnets, not because money is everything, because impact requires resources. So I'll be teaching them how to be good persons that attract money. Now, we didn't grow up talking about death. Some taboo topics would be insurance, wills, estate planning. These conversations felt heavy. They felt uncomfortable. But here's what I learned. Planning for death is actually planning for love. One day, each and every one of us will leave this earth. The question isn't if, the question is, will our family be prepared? I'll teach my children that preparing for tomorrow is one of the greatest gifts you can give the people that you love. So insurance, estate planning, business succession, these things I do want us to feel comfortable talking about. Not because we are expecting death, but because we value life. I usually hear my parents say, don't ask for money. Anything you want, I'll give it to you. Be independent. Handle your own responsibilities. And that's always been a lesson I'll honor because it taught me respect. But here's an upgrade. Don't ask for handouts. Ask for wisdom. Ask for mentorship. Ask for introductions. Ask for partnerships. Opportunities usually comes through people, relationships, genuine relationships. Relationships are one of the greatest financial assets actually that you'll ever build. That's what I want my children to understand. Build value, build healthy relationships. The opportunities will then follow. And so when I think about my parents, I don't think that they did wrong. I think they made an amazing sacrifice to give me a strong foundation. My responsibility now isn't to replace that foundation, it's to build another floor on top of it. That's what generational wealth really means. Not simply leaving money behind, leaving better thinking, but better system, better stewardship. Just building on what you had before and making it better so that one day my children can build even higher than I did. As I think about the kingdom, God introduces himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's 3 generations right there. The kingdom has always been generational. And our responsibility isn't just to build wealth, it's to build faithful stewards. Because the greatest inheritance isn't what we leave to our children, it's what we leave in them. And so it's our responsibility to ensure that we not just focus on generational wealth, but leaving an inheritance, leaving good stewards behind so they can steward and leave a legacy that enriches the world. Blessings.